What if I told you that walking away, not talking more, is the one thing that can trigger her deepest emotional pull? It doesn't make sense on the surface, but attraction doesn't operate on logic. It runs on emotional contrast, and nothing creates contrast like distance. Here's the paradox. The more you explain, chase, and seek closure, the less she feels you. But the moment you pull back, not out of pride but presence, she begins to feel the space you used to fill. Right now, you might be overthinking her silence, wondering if you did something wrong. But the real mistake is losing yourself, trying to hold on to someone who only values you when you're not there. So if you're ready to stop overgiving and start reclaiming your gravity, like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications and comment. My silence is the loudest thing she'll hear. Number 1. She expects you to chase, so don't. She knows the pattern. She pulls away and you come running. That's how it usually goes. Most men, when they sense distance, start sending double texts, trying to make things right, offering apologies they never needed to say. But here's the secret. She's counting on it. Women don't always do this maliciously, it's often subconscious. When she withdraws, she seeks a reaction to confirm her importance. Your panic validates her power, but when you don't chase, when you go quiet, centered and calm, the whole script breaks, and in its place something powerful emerges: unpredictability. And women are drawn to unpredictability more than attention, because mystery creates space for imagination, and when you stop giving her the same pattern every man gives, she starts to feel something new: curiosity, even regret. From the Stoic lens, this is emotional sovereignty. Epictetus wrote, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them." When she pulls away, it's not rejection, it's a test, and how you perceive that moment determines everything. If you stay still, unmoved, she no longer feels control over your emotional state, and that loss of control shifts the power. Let's break a myth. Not chasing doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your center than about outcomes, because if someone can only stay with you when you chase, that was never connection. That was dependence. Imagine this. She leaves your message on read, no explanation. You resist the urge to follow up. You go about your day, you train, you build, you rest, and then a few days later she likes your photo, sends a "Hey, how have you been?" She's not reaching out because of what you said, she's reaching out because of what you didn't say. In silence you told her, "I am enough," without you chasing me back. And ironically, that's when she wants to come closer. So next time she pulls away, let her. Don't punish, don't chase, don't over-explain, just return to yourself. Because the man who doesn't flinch is the man who cannot be forgotten. Comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 2. Your silence triggers her regret. In a world where attention is currency, silence is power. She notices when you stop giving her what she used to expect. Constant texts, quick replies, flirty comments. At first she may pretend it doesn't matter. She'll act unbothered, carry on with her day, post that story. But underneath, something starts to shift. Your absence creates a void, and nature, especially emotional nature, hates a void. She'll begin to wonder, why did he stop? Did he lose interest? Did I misjudge his value? That uncertainty gnaws at her, not because she needs your validation, but because she'd gotten used to it, and now it's gone. This is where the true Stoic man rises, not by reacting, but by withdrawing gracefully. You don't go silent to hurt her, you go silent because your energy is sacred. You've recognized that continuing to give it where it's not reciprocated only weakens your center. Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In this context, the best response to her inconsistency isn't passive aggression or cold games, it's inner stillness. You say nothing. You don't block, rage, or demand answers. You simply remove your attention. And in that quiet withdrawal, something powerful happens. She feels your value, not through more effort, but through the lack of it, because your silence speaks louder than your words ever did. It says, I am no longer available for confusion. That message hits deeper than any clever comeback. Let's dismantle a popular myth. She'll forget you if you don't speak up. No, she'll feel your absence everywhere if you stay silent while grounded in purpose and peace. Especially if she once had your attention freely, she'll start checking your page, asking mutual friends, wondering if you've moved on. And here's the key. You're not doing this to provoke a reaction. You're doing this to honor yourself. So how do you embody this? Shift your focus inward. Pour into your work, into your health, into your growth. Don't use silence as manipulation. Use it as medicine. Let it purify your boundaries and reset your value. Because the man who can walk away quietly becomes the one they remember the longest. Comment below, I control my mind, no one else does. Number 3. Indifference is power when it's real. There's a difference between pretending not to care and actually not caring. Most men try to fake indifference when hurt. Longing replies, avoiding eye contact, posting gym selfies with cryptic captions. But a woman can feel the difference. She knows when you're trying to look strong and when you've reclaimed your peace. True indifference isn't bitterness, it's clarity. It's when you've stopped seeking answers, stopped hoping for change, and started living again. It's not that you hate her, it's that you no longer need her to validate you. And that quiet confidence, it's magnetic. When a woman sees that you no longer respond to her triggers, her subtle jabs, her accidental messages, her last birthday wish, she begins to feel something unexpected. Doubt. Not necessarily regret for leaving, but a sudden shift in emotional control. She's no longer occupying the center of your world, and that change is disorienting. The Stoics call this self-sufficiency. Seneca wrote, "A wise man is content with himself." You become free when you detach from outcomes and stop treating her behavior as a mirror of your worth. And ironically, that freedom often draws her back, not because she wants you again, but because she doesn't understand how you became unaffected. Let's challenge a lie. Indifference means you're cold. No, it means you've healed. Real indifference says, I loved, I gave, I let go. You're not acting, you're simply being. You no longer play emotional ping-pong. You've put down the paddle and walked off the court. This shift changes everything. She may start texting more, testing waters, sending vague emojis, but you don't engage. Not to punish her, but because you've found peace somewhere deeper within yourself. She's no longer the source of your joy or your pain, and once you reach that point, she has no more control over your emotions. How to embody this? Wake up and ask, what do I want to build today? Focus on that. Let her fade naturally into the background, not because you're pushing her out, but because your purpose has become louder than your longing. Because the truly indifferent man isn't silent out of pride. He's silent because he's full of peace. Comment below, I control my mind, no one else does. Number 4. She will test you, stay stoic, or be dragged back. Just when you think you've moved on, she suddenly reappears, not with a full apology or a heartfelt message, but with a mistaken text, a like on your months-old photo, or a story view after weeks of silence. Don't be fooled. This isn't a coincidence. It's a test. She's not reaching out to reconnect. She's trying to see if she still has access to you, if you'll take the bait, if you'll break your silence. And most men do. They jump at the opportunity, replying instantly, assuming this is a sign she still cares. But all it really confirms is this: she still controls your emotions. A stoic man doesn't take the bait. He recognizes the trap and chooses stillness over reaction. Epictetus said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. In other words, it's not the test that weakens you, it's your choice to engage. Think of it like this: your silence wasn't just absence, it was progress. Your detachment wasn't cold, it was healing. So when she drops a breadcrumb, it's not an invitation back into connection, it's a door back into confusion. And the cost of walking through that door is your peace. This doesn't mean you hold a grudge or block her in anger. It means you remain unshaken. You see the notification, you acknowledge it, and you move on. No reply, no reaction, no emotional spike. That's what stoic strength looks like in action. Let's challenge the myth that no response is rude. In truth, no response is a response. It says, I'm no longer available for games. It shows her, and more importantly, it reminds you, that your peace is no longer negotiable. Here's how to pass the test. Pause the next time she pops up with a vague message or attention-seeking gesture. Ask yourself, am I responding because I want to or need to feel seen again? If it's the latter, stay silent. Because your silence is no longer weakness, it's wisdom. Because the man who doesn't flinch when tested becomes the man she can't shake off. Now speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. Number 5. How to stay emotionally unavailable without losing yourself. Emotional unavailability isn't about being cold or detached, it's about being centered. When a man becomes emotionally unavailable by choice, not trauma, he stops being reactive, desperate, or needy. He no longer rides the waves of her attention. Instead, he becomes the shore, still, solid, immovable. To reach this state, you have to stop making her the center of your life. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you redirect your energy back to what matters: your mission, your growth, your health, your craft. When your day is filled with purpose, her silence won't disturb you, because your attention is no longer on her absence, but on your presence. Stoicism calls this eudaimonia, living in accordance with your highest nature. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. You can't control her feelings, but you can control where you place your focus. Here's the trap most men fall into. They try to act detached while still obsessing internally. They post for her to notice. They move on with a chip on their shoulder. But true emotional independence isn't performance, it's peace. It's waking up and not thinking about whether she's watching. It's doing your work not to prove anything, but because it fulfills you. And this is exactly when women start to feel your absence, not just physically, but energetically. You're no longer orbiting around them. You've stepped out of the emotional economy. You're no longer making deposits to gain affection. You're building yourself. That's when they notice. That's when they start reaching out, checking in, or sending signals. But by then, something in you has changed. You no longer need their attention. You may still care, but you no longer chase. Let's destroy a myth. Being emotionally unavailable is a flaw. No, it's a phase of power, a reset, a space where you rediscover yourself. And once you're grounded again, you can retoy love with clarity, not confusion. So, how do you stay in that state? Practice detachment daily, meditate, train, build something that outlasts temporary affection, and remember, her approval is optional, your purpose is not. Because the man who stops living for her attention starts living for his destiny. Comment below, I control my mind, no one else does. Number 6. The shift. When she starts chasing you. It always starts quietly. First she views your story, then she likes a post she never acknowledged before. Maybe she sends a short vague message, "Hey, how've you been?" You didn't change overnight, you simply stopped chasing, and that subtle withdrawal created a powerful shift. She's no longer the one being pursued. She's now doing the pursuing. What changed? You did. You stopped making her the center of your universe. You redirected your focus to your health, your mission, your inner world. You stopped reacting to her breadcrumbs and started building a life that made her presence optional, not essential. Women feel this energy shift deeply. They may not say it, but they sense when you've detached. Not with bitterness, but with peace. Your silence becomes louder than your words ever were. Your absence starts to raise questions. Did he move on? Does he not care anymore? Did I misjudge his value? From a Stoic perspective, this is the fruit of self-mastery. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." You didn't withdraw to manipulate, you withdrew to heal. You stopped giving energy to someone who wasn't matching it, and by doing that you created space not just for her to return, but for yourself to rise. Here's the myth we need to shatter, that the only way to get someone back is to chase harder. No, the more you chase, the more they run, but they come closer when you stop and become still and silent and whole. Not always out of love, but out of curiosity. And that curiosity often awakens something deeper, regret. She'll wonder if she lost you for good. She'll check to see if you're dating someone new. She may even find ways to accidentally run into you or bring up old memories. But here's the key. You don't shift your energy just because she did. You've grown, you've seen what peace feels like, and now the choice is yours, not hers. You can welcome her back if she's changed, or you can keep moving, knowing that her renewed interest doesn't define your worth, it reflects it. Because the man who stops chasing doesn't just attract attention, he attracts clarity, peace, and the power to choose. Now, speak out and comment below, I control my mind, no one else does. Victory is found in mastering yourself. You thought the goal was to win her back, to get a reply, to change her mind, but as you walked through each principle, staying silent, holding your center, focusing on purpose, you realized the goal was never her, it was always you, your peace, your power, your growth. Stoicism doesn't teach you to suppress emotion, it teaches you to direct it, to feel fully but not be consumed. And in this journey, you didn't become colder, you became clearer. You stopped chasing, not because you didn't care, but because you finally understood that no connection is worth losing yourself. Every time you held your silence, you told the world, my value isn't up for negotiation. Every time you walked away from a test or a game, you proved that your energy is earned, not begged for. You've broken the old pattern. You no longer live in response to her mood or her attention. You've stepped fully into your own orbit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." That's what you've done. You didn't just detach, you built. You didn't just ignore her, you reinvented yourself. And now, whether she comes back or not isn't the question. The only question is, who are you becoming now that you're no longer tied to emotional chaos? And here's the truth, the more complete you become, the less you need to be understood. The more you invest in your mission, the less you need her recognition. That's not detachment out of pride. That's freedom born from inner stillness. So no, this isn't about getting her to regret. This is about you no longer living in regret, about living with such dignity that even if she never looks back, you've still won. Because the man who no longer seeks validation becomes the man who creates value. And that's the victory she can't take away. Now speak out and comment below. I control my mind, no one else does. You came here wondering why your attention seems to push her away. Now you know it's not about effort, it's about energy. When you're always available, your presence becomes background noise. But when you pull away with clarity and calm, you shift the power dynamic without saying a word. It's not about games. It's about showing her that your world doesn't collapse without her, that your peace isn't negotiable. And once she feels that, she starts to question what she lost, not because you demanded it, but because you disappeared without warning. If you're ready to lead through distance, not desperation, like this video, subscribe and comment. I create desire by choosing self-respect. Stay firm, stay grounded, because the strongest pull is the one she never saw coming.